Hello everybody and welcome back to Innocent Life. Last video we went and did our maintenance and we managed to get our final red jewel from Masumi, making 4. And that also allows us to break the seal on the altar. So I put the jewel in last night. Remember that if you do put a jewel in and you do make a complete match, you have to wait until the next day to see the effects. So we now have this patch of land available to us to use for farming, but more importantly, we're now able to go into some of the red doors that we can find in and around the island. And we're going to spend today exploring behind this door here and grabbing the water crest that we need to bring to the hermit. So this is sort of like a dungeon, actually. A pretty simple one, mind you. You're mostly just gonna have to walk through here, find your way around, collecting items until you can actually find the water crest. So keep an eye out for different treasure chests in the area. There's gonna be a bunch of different stuff that we can find. And keep in mind, of course, that there are going to be some doors that we don't have access to, like the orange ones, for example. We now have access to yellow, blue, and red. And you will probably need to spend quite a significant amount of time in this area because we don't have the buggy, so we are going to have to walk around manually. And make sure that you check every single nook and cranny because there are, like I said, a lot of goodies to grab in the area. I can't really talk much about the direction that I'm going because it is so twisty and turny and there's so many different ways to go. So really my only piece of advice is just to make sure that you look everywhere that you possibly can. The place isn't so big that you won't be able to explore it in a single day, so don't worry about that. Just pick a time and you should be able to get through here with one day, no problem. And to my knowledge, there are only orange locked doors, so if there's anything that we do miss or anything that we do come back for later, it'll be once we unlock some of those orange doors. Like this one, for example, and the one that we found earlier on. But for the most part, there aren't that many obstacles in the way, and the way that you need to go is fairly obvious. So far we found a purple, a red, and an orange jewel. We also have a purple jewel at home, so now that we've picked up 2 purple jewels, we'll have 3. Not quite sure if we'll be able to find a 4th one in this area, but it's a good start nonetheless. The game is pacing itself pretty well in terms of giving us enough jewels to unlock different areas, I think. There's another red jewel, which makes... oh, and there's another one, so that makes 3 red jewels. So again, we almost have enough to unlock another land piece, if we like. Now, mind you, the game tends to only give us 3 and not give us the 4th one that we need, so we'll probably have to hold off on that for a little bit. But once you've explored the area enough and you've found the way, you'll come into this room with an obvious, very looking important chest which has the water crest in it. So, like I said, it only took us a couple of in-game hours and was relatively easy to find. And there's just one more area that we need to go to get some treasure, and then we can get out of here. I'm not too sure if I'm going to have the time today to go to the hermit and deliver the crest right away. Probably not by the time that I get out of here because there is no fast travel option or anything like that. I am going to have to walk back, but we can save that for another day. We also need to speak to the fisherman, so there's a couple of things that we need to do in that plains area once we have the chance to go there. Just gonna grab my final pieces of treasure and then we can leave. That one has $1,000 in it, which is kind of useless in my opinion because I am so loaded with money and I have more money than I know what to do with, but that's okay. Here is our first green jewel. And then in this chest you have an angel ribbon. This is sort of a key item. It has to do with a sort of subplot type of scenario in the game. Definitely want to grab that and hold on to it for another time. I will be talking about that later. We spoke to Galleon in the bar about him being unhappy about Million being unmarried. And with the angel ribbon, we will kind of help him with that problem. So that's me giving away a little bit about what it's used for without giving away too much at the same time. Now let's hope I can find my way back without getting too terribly lost. I'm gonna have a lot of item sorting to do because I don't want to carry these jewels around if I can't use them. I could place them in the altars if I wanted, just to sort of get them set up for later, but I haven't quite mapped out what I want to put where, sort of thing. So the only thing we really need is the crest, but we can take a look at some of these other items. The angel ribbon is a pink fluffy ribbon said to be made of a special kind of silk that only angels can see. A woman who wears it can attract the man of her dreams. And we can take a look at some of the descriptions for these other jewels as well. So this will help us make the decision of where we want to put these, depending on what they're going to do for our crops. So the green jewel, for example, will help crops mature faster and retain water for an extra 6 days. Crops will also sell for more than usual. That is one powerful gem. All of those sound really, really helpful. The red ones will help your crops mature faster, but will also dry your crops more quickly. The orange jewel will help your crops mature quickly. The water retention is the same as usual, so don't forget to water. So it doesn't really help in terms of watering. And then finally, the purple jewel will help your crops mature faster and retain water for an extra 4 days. And your crops will sell for higher than usual. So the purple and the green seem to sort of have the same effect. We also found the Easter hammer, which is a upgraded version of a regular hammer. It looks like it's the 2nd level available. A light and hard hammer made of Easter ore. If you put enough strength into it, you can even break boulders. So that's kind of the next step up from just breaking small little stones. We can break any sort of big stone that we find. I'm not sure. Oh, actually I can use it. That's great. I was gonna say I'm not sure if I can actually use that, but it looks like I can, which means that we can retire our old iron hammer, which is great news. Alright, so let's put some of this stuff away and just do our regular inventory management here. I didn't have a chance to check the time. We might still have enough time to go and deliver this just for the sake of doing all of this in the same video. There it is. There's my iron hammer. I'll put that away. And we have a nice clean inventory. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. Yeah, you know what? I think we will bring that crest to the hermit. Just for the sake of doing so, because why not? Might as well get as much done in a day as we possibly can. And hopefully we'll be able to find out what's next in the story as well, because besides Masumi telling us to get the crest and bringing it to the hermit, we don't really have any sort of indication as to what we're supposed to be doing after that. Obviously, we're going to need to find the water spirit, because apparently the water spirit is the only one that can really help us right now. I probably won't bother talking to the fisherman today just because it's not exactly high on my priority list. We can really speak to him anytime that we want to. We know where to find him. He's always in the same spot. I did find out, however, that he'll move depending on the season, so when fall rolls around, he is going to be in a completely different fixed location if we need to speak to him about fishing or for anything else for any reason. So here's the hermit. Oh, it's the Crest of the Water Spirit. It looks like you're serious about wanting to save the people of the island. Very well, then take this Crest of the Forest Spirit and give it to the mermaid. In exchange, I will take the Crest of the Water Spirit. Okay, that's sort of helpful, but I don't know where to find the Forest Spirit or the mermaid. The Forest Crest, a symbol of the power of the Forest Spirit. If you show it to the nature sprites, something may happen. Ah, okay. It looks like broccoli. Anywho, I guess it is worth reading the descriptions on items because that actually gives us a really big clue as to where to go next. I haven't done this part of the story yet, but I would assume because we've been seeing the nature sprites in town, we would just go to the same area where we've been seeing them the last few times that they've appeared. But if not, we have 2 forests that we can visit. There's only really a handful of places that they can be, so hopefully they're not going to be too hard to track down. And we did all that in a reasonable amount of time. I will make it back quite late, but by no means am I going to have to stay up until 2 a.m. and exhaust myself. I should be able to get in bed at a reasonable hour and wake up at the same time and then continue onwards with my day as usual. It's also Monday, so I have to remember to watch the cooking channel as well because we do have access to a new recipe category. And I think at this point we're getting really close to unlocking all of the categories, so that's kind of exciting as well. Starting a new week is always nice because there is a lot to do. I guess I'm just gonna go do that now. Go to sleep and carry onwards. Of course, recording a video if anything comes up, keeping you guys informed. Hopefully I'll be able to figure out where we can find the nature sprites. Figure out what to do next in the story and kind of wrap up the summer season. We've got about 13-ish days left in the season, so we almost have a good 2 weeks still. I want to thank you guys all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.